Hey friends, phantoms, and everybody else, welcome back to Phantom Abyss 101, the weekly series where I teach you advanced and beginner-friendly tips, tricks, Easter eggs, speedrunning techniques, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You just have to stick around to see. If it's your first time here, welcome. There's already a lot of content for you, and don't worry, there's a lot more to come. If you find any of this useful, you want to see some more, tickle the subscribe button right in his little nostril, and check back every week for some future updates. We also stream live nearly every day on twitch.tv/UnicOfficial. Link's going to be in the description. And this run that you're seeing right now in the background is actually from our live stream, and it's a world record time, believe it or not, with a start like that. You get a hang of all these tips I'm about to throw at you, you're going to be getting world records too. You don't even need to worry about it. So let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about moving faster. There's a lot to movement in this game. We got to go over the basics first before we get too advanced. You should already know how to use a keyboard or controller at this point, obviously, but taking advantage of the game's physics is where you're going to improve. That and figuring out the best pathways to take through rooms is going to get you to the finish safer and in better time. These tips are going to be split into two categories, using any of the whips, including the default whip, and the second category is going to be for the lightning whip users. The mechanics required on the lightning whip vary so much, so make sure not to mix them up. First, we're going to talk about all of the whips aside from lightning. There's a lot of ways to move faster, but we gotta kick up our momentum first. To increase your forward momentum, always slide down stairs and slopes. You learn this in the tutorial on the stairs, but it also works on anything with the slope, even if it's 1 degree below flat. So if you're running on a flat surface, but it's even just 1 degree slope down, slide on it and you're gonna get that boost. Tiny slopes too, like little bricks. I'll show you a little clip of what I'm talking about. But you chain that in with some ledge boosts and you can get really fast, really far, really quick. It gets a little advanced, so we'll talk more about it later. I want to go over the basics first. I want to move on to our second point, and it might sound stupid after that first point, but slopes might not be the best option every time. The best example of this is in the large starting room. You see it right now. If you want all of the chests, and don't care about the time too much, then sure, slide down every stairway, every chance you get, slide down. But if you really want to focus on the best possible time to get a relic, skip it all entirely. You can jump right off and make it to the end. It also helps if you ledge boost for maximum speed and distance. As you probably know, there's already a video up on ledge boosting, so go ahead, watch that if you're out of the loop, if you don't know. It's a bit advanced, but dozens of people have come live to me and gotten a hang of it within like 10 minutes. Getting consistent with it is the hard part. I even struggle with it, and I have hundreds of hours in this game, and I'm not even exaggerating with that playtime. Just practice it, you'll get better, don't worry. If you can't get the ledge boost every time, it's completely fine. You have a whip, and you have a safety roll. You can whip onto the edges or roll in safe areas. You can also grab the ledge. In this specific room, it doesn't really save you much time, but it's an option. It's there. I'll talk about it in a minute or so about how ledge grabbing is going to help a lot more in certain situations. But something also in a room like this, you can introduce break falling, which is essentially just jumping as soon as you hit the ground. You still will shatter your ankles into pieces and take damage, but in certain situations, like a quick T1 relic or speedrunning the tutorial especially, you're going to want to use that. Because in the tutorial, you do not take damage, and it completely conserves your momentum. Also, if you have blessings, you can double jump, or you can hover down to ease your landing towards the end. I need to also mention that sometimes you don't even need to break your fall in any way. You don't need to mitigate any damage. The roll indicator is going to show at the bottom even before you're at a threatening height. So you can see on screen right now there's some areas where you can just completely just go down and not even worry about it. You can play around and get risky with it to discover even more areas, and you're going to be surprised how often you can just keep going and not have to roll or do anything. Skipping the rooms or traps also doesn't just apply to this room. You can apply skips to pretty much every room you enter. It's just about finding the right path to take. As you encounter similar room generations over and over, you'll know where to go and what can save you time. There's way too many possibilities for room layouts to generate that I could show them all here, but it'll give you kind of an idea of what's on screen now to look for, what to look for, how to save time, and as you play, you're going to get a lot more used to it. You're going to see like, oh, okay, this looks familiar, I know these kind of stairs, I know this platform, I know I can get here. You'll get the hang of it. Just introduce all of these tactics into your run, and you're going to be saving a lot of time. Also keep in mind that you can just buy skip doors. There's some extremely annoying rooms, so if you have 100 gems laying around, choose wisely. Don't just spend them on every skip door you see. Spend them on the really annoying ones. And that's going to save you a lot of time. It could also save you hearts. I've lost sometimes 4-5 hearts in one just really long room that I could have easily skipped if I had like 5 more gems. It was stupid, but trust me, this is a great way to save yourself that trouble. And before moving on to the next point, I need to circle back to grabbing ledges. It wouldn't help much in that room I showed, but it definitely will in these and a lot of others. When you're scaling high vertical walls, grab the ledge. It will help you so much more than you think. Whip below the top of the structure so that you pull yourself towards the edge, because when you whip, you send yourself a bit above where you aim. So if you whip right below it, you're going to throw yourself right at the edge, and your character should just grab onto it, or if you're close but not quite getting it, spam the crouch key, and your character is going to grab onto the ledge, and it's not only going to bring you to the top faster, but your whip is going to reset faster, enabling you to whip again quicker. Especially in rooms with a lot of tall structures like this one, you're going to be able to get up, instead of having to throw yourself up, wait to land on top, let the whip come back in. This is much faster, much quicker, much safer. Another side note on this second point is, other than rooms, there are a lot of traps that you can skip, and it's so important that it needs an entire video on its own. That video is going to come out next week, so if you're subscribed, you can get that notification when it's ready. If you're watching this in the future, get on over there, boy! There's so much knowledge waiting for you. Trust me, it's going to be a good one. In the future, we're also going to talk about all the different whips and how to get the most out of them. I'll tell you this for now, if you're using the Vine Whip, jump over everything. I said it before, I'll say it again. The Vine Whip is so strong. You can jump over everything, you can skip everything, especially if you have blessings. You can double jump and hover through every single room, whip, and then double jump again. It is so strong, but we'll talk about that in the future. Let's get back on focusing on these tips. Talking about skipping traps. Well, how about using traps to skip rooms? I promise it's the last time I'm going to talk about skipping, but it needs to be said. Have you ever gotten yeeted into a new dimension by a hammer? If yes, then good, keep getting yeeted, because in certain situations, it can really save you time. In exchange for a heart, if you position yourself to get hit by a hammer, it will send you flying. If we weren't stuck inside of temples, we could probably get sent to the literal moon with these hammers. They're so strong. Other great ways of yeeting yourself is on conveyor belts and moving platforms, especially those that move faster. Just jump off in the same direction they're moving for a nice little boost. You can also yeet yourself off the rolling cylinders, the large rolling cylinders. You can achieve a maximum yeetage at a higher FPS, but I don't actually recommend setting it to a high FPS. I recommend going at 60 or below, because these traps are tied to your FPS, and I really hope that changes because it adds a lot of unintentional inconsistencies with how you play. We're going to get deeper into trap mechanics and FPS as well in a future video, but I'll leave you with that for now. We're going to move on to the third point. We're going to get a little more advanced from here on out. Slide hopping is your best friend. When you're running on a flat surface, always try to slide hop. Slide hopping is the practice of just sliding and jumping. Think of it as ledge boosting without the ledge. You don't get as much speed as a ledge boost, but it's faster than normal running or jump spamming. Jump spamming is actually a tiny bit slower than normal running, so avoid doing that, ever. You can just throw that little slide in there before the jump, and you're going to be having a good time. It also applies to the ice whip. If you're moving quick with the ice whip, you move quick when you slide, but you move even quicker if you're slide hopping. And if you're struggling with slide hopping, I suggest you maybe change your keybinds. I keep my crouch key, my slide, my roll to the side of my mouse. And if you don't have a mouse with side buttons, that's fine. Just use whatever's comfortable for you. And that may be the default, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you this though, don't bind your crouch, your roll, to Alt or any other key that forms a Windows shortcut. I did this at first and didn't realize until someone pointed it out at me like a few days into the game's lifespan. And my sliding, crouching, the rolling, none of it was working right, and this explains why. So if you're having issues too, sliding downstairs or executing any of these techniques, just try changing your keybinds. It'll probably help you out. Moving on from that though, let's talk about the fourth point. This is conserving your momentum. Alright, so we talked a lot about the basics of gaining momentum, but now you need to keep it. We talked about break falling earlier also, but that's pretty situational. You don't really want to be using that most of the time. But a good way to conserve your momentum is first, double jump. You should know that double jump conserves your momentum. So if you're in the air and you have a lot of momentum going forward, throw that double jump in there. You're going to keep your momentum, you're going to go further, you're going to keep that speed. I show this clip so often, and it's in a previous video, but it's such a good example of all of it just coming together and working out. Use your double jump on your descent back down. Don't trigger it too fast, because you want to stay in the air with all of that momentum going as fast as possible for as long as possible, getting that maximum distance possible. And you might not always have double jump though. So next we're going to talk about BHopping, bunny hopping. You've probably heard of this in other games. If you haven't, that's fine. We're going to explain it for you. It's pretty simple in theory, but it's actually pretty hard to pull off consistently. Essentially what you want to do is just jump right as you're about to touch the ground. This kinda has no friction. It's as if you have no friction when you touch the ground, so your momentum is conserved. It's pretty hard to pull off, even harder than ledge boosting in my opinion, but if you can get it, it's really, really worth it. You can also chain them together infinitely if you can get it down. So you can B-hop, B-hop, B-hop after a big momentum boost, and you're going to be zooming through places. It's a bit harder on turns and wonky obstacles, but you'll figure it out. Just get that practice in. I believe all of you, you're going to get it just fine. Finally, we got to talk about the lightning whip tips. The single most important tip for you to know is just run. Okay, I'm kidding, but not really. The lightning whip is really at its best when you're simply just running and not doing anything else. Of course, you should still try to skip every room through the fastest possible route, and you should minimize your time whipping, jumping, sliding, all of that. Even going down slopes, you're faster running than sliding. So in those hallway rooms or downstairs, just run. Don't slide, it's gonna slow you down. And you can still ledge boost with the lightning whip, and it will make you faster, than just jumping off. But if you miss that boost, you suffer from the incredibly lower momentum, and you might not clear that gap that you probably would have cleared otherwise if you just jumped normally. And if you're using any other whip, any whip aside from the lightning whip, always go for ledge boosts. You don't really lose momentum like you do on lightning, and you don't lose any time. We have so much to gain by doing the ledge boost. If you hit it right, it's so much more speed, so much more momentum, so much more distance, so much more worth it. You know what I'm saying, right? And I think that's it. I think that sums it up. I only wrote down those talking points. I think we got to everything for this video. So now with all of that information, you can practice them runs, grab those relics, be a speedy time god of this universe if you damn please. And there's a lot more movement though. Like I said earlier, we're gonna build on top of this with the next video. We're gonna talk about phasing through traps essentially without taking any damage. So stay tuned for that. And if I missed anything or you have a tip of your own, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you know, love to know what we missed. Throw it in there. And also, we have a Discord. Shout out to the Discord. We got a dozen of you already hanging out in there. But if you're not there and you're looking for some more information, some friends, some gaming sessions, all that goody, hop on over there. Link's going to be in the description as well. And we got some giveaways going on right now. Every day that we're live on Twitch for about 3 weeks. There's over $250 roonies worth of games being thrown left and right with 20 possible winners. So don't miss out on that. Finally. Now, guys, have a good day, and remember, stay safe in the abyss, stay hydrated, and stop hugging this guy. God damn it, what the hell is wrong with you?